Joining us now is Grace Riley. Grace is a Gen Z conservative advocate with the goal of reaching her generation for conservative values and truth. She is a reporter at the American Spectator and is a student at Grove City College. Grace, thank you for joining The Road Forward.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm looking right now in the headlines, Grace, and we're seeing a lot of reports coming in about this new movie called The Sound of Freedom. Jem Caviezel, I believe the production includes Mel Gibson. It's a story of Tim Ballard. This is all about human sex trafficking. And what we're seeing right now is that it's overturning a lot of expectation, especially by those in Hollywood. And right now, there are many members of the press who are calling this movie conspiratorial. They're saying that it's QAnon adjacent. What is going on with all of this?
Yeah, it's a really sad issue and topic, and it's sad that we have to have a conversation about why this issue is important. Just because to start with the numbers, human trafficking, it's reported by Operation Underground Railroad that over 40 million people are trafficked globally and 25% of them are children. Human trafficking is devastating. It's modern day slavery, and it affects every zip code in the United States. And it's the second largest illicit industry. An international justice mission additionally adds to these numbers, reporting that 2 million children are victims of sex trafficking. So this is a very real issue, and the media's reaction to it as it's gained traction has been abhorrent. I want to read some of the headlines that have come out from the media.
Go ahead.
So, just to start, Rolling Stone's headline reads, and I quote, "Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms." I'll read another one. The Guardian's headline, and I quote, "Sound of Freedom, the QAnon-adjacent thriller seducing America." And CNN additionally encouraged people not to see the film and called it QAnon concepts. So just looking at the media's reaction to this, because these are only a few of the headlines and the list goes on. If we can't unite around an issue such as raising awareness for and trying to end child sex trafficking, then how far have we really fallen?
I totally agree. Now, I just want to go back, though. Many of these outlets, in terms of what they're reporting on, you just go back the past 2 or 3 years, everything from COVID to their fair and balanced coverage of the Biden administration. They are oftentimes shilling for those on the left. And I would be very suspicious the more that they want to criticize a movie like this. That certainly raises a red flag with me. What are they trying to desperately avoid? Why are they so critical of a movie having this kind of success? Why are they afraid? What are they afraid of?
Yeah, and that's the question. And a lot of Americans have been asking that question. If you go on social media, a lot of people are saying the only people who would be scared of a movie such as this highlighting child sex trafficking, the only people that would be scared of something like that are people who are a part of the problems themselves. That's what a lot of people are kind of asking and wondering, because it doesn't really make any sense why the media would be raising questions about the movie and saying it's conspiratorial when clearly it's a very real issue that everyone should unite around. It's not political at all. It makes no sense that the media would try to politicize this movie. The movie is not political. This is something all people should unite around and try to end.
It's interesting too, Grace, you walk back just a few years, the Me Too movement that took the nation by storm, and especially Hollywood and the corporate media by storm. Often, in many ways, it was shining a light on sexism in the workplace discrimination, and there were many examples where executives at the top level were fired, right, from their jobs, and rightfully so. Justice was served in those moments. But what is interesting is that movement stopped short of actually protecting children and even protecting mothers. And I think about the abortion industry. I think about how corporate media doesn't want to shine a light on what's happening there. And certainly when it comes to sex trafficking, this is also about the protection of minors, the protection of girls and boys. children, as early as the age of 2 and 3 years old, and they don't seem to want to talk about that. You're a Gen Z advocate, somebody who is often speaking to the youngest generation. What is the thought of sex trafficking as it relates to the youngest generation?
Yeah, I think within Gen Z, I think there are more people that are aware of it and opening their eyes to it. But something I would point to, as you're kind of mentioning, the the normalization of people and young people being sexualized in the media is not new. This has been going on in Hollywood, where if you turn on Netflix or something like that, you can easily find movies, TV shows that are pushing the kind of ideas of just kind of making sex more positive at younger and younger ages, promoting abortion, promoting sexuality to younger and younger ages. Now, these things connected with the other industries online that are developing. So online, there are more people addicted to porn than ever. OnlyFans has grown. So if we look at that, those types of things should be highlighted as well, because those are very, very harmful. And my point is that young people who have phones, it's really easy to find this stuff, and this stuff is feeding into the far worse industry. So all of this intertwined together, people should come together and talk about, bring awareness to, do what they can to put an end to it. And part of it is, again, that when our society is desensitized to something like bringing sexuality up with young children, and that happens in the classroom, when that's suddenly okay, that's obviously going to create more of a culture that's more desensitized to these larger issues.
Yeah, I totally agree. What we're seeing is a reflexive strategy. It's the tail wagging the dog in many ways. We've oftentimes, parents have sounded the alarm on this. This is another form of grooming. It is preparation of the youngest generation to normalize all kinds of sexual immorality in this kind of behavior. Grace, thank you so much for your comments and for weighing in this morning. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so